this is a question by one of our friends and subscribers, Anna Yurpalova. It's a long question, and it is connected to Crocus City Hall terrorist attack. And the first reaction of the West was voiced by Mr. Kirby, and the first thing he said was, we know for sure that it wasn't Ukraine. And later in the media and social networks, the narrative spread that it is not Ukraine, but Russia will find a way to blame the Ukraine. But then later, as head of SBU, Mavlyuk confessed to the journalist that his organization was involved in the explosion of the Crimean Bridge and in terrorist attacks in St. Petersburg, where Vladlen Tatarsky died, and so on. And even murder of Ilya Kiva is also on the SBU account. And at the same day, the British Minister of Defense said that Russia shows recklessness, nuclear rhetoric. So it is clear that Ukraine confessing, yes, we did this, and this. On the other hand, West comes out and says, well, Russia is aggressive and so on. And the question, Anna's question was like this. Could it be a trap for Russia when, say, under the guise of angry statements by Russians, Western intelligence agencies carry out an operation like a false flag attack in the Ukraine, involving a chemical or nuclear attack, and say that it was revenge by Russian? And in addition to this, we see that evacuation of Kharkov which could be ideal place for such a provocation. And we also see the initiative of 44 countries of the EU and the United States to hold a tribunal against Putin, which was announced on April 2 at conference on Netherlands. So on the one hand, Ukraine makes Russia angry. Russia, of course, replies that we will not leave this unanswered. On the other hand, West and the Ukraine start shouting, oh, Russia will start blaming us, and now we fear of some Russian provocations. Could such false flag operation be possible? What do you think?
Well, the premise of the false flag is that they're going to do something and blame it on Russia. What was the Russian response to not one, but two attacks on the Kerch Bridge? Did they use nuclear weapons? Did they use chemical weapons? No. What was the Russian response to any of these provocations that have taken place? To say we will hold the perpetrators accountable, but then to get on with, what they've been doing the whole time, winning a war. So the idea that Russia's past behavior lends itself to accusations of nuclear weapon use or chemical weapons use is absurd. Russia's made it clear that they will never use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. If they're going to use nuclear weapons, it won't be a Ukrainian city that gets blown up. It'll be a European city that gets blown up. And chemical weapons, it's not part of the Russian arsenal. And here's the other thing too. Both a nuclear and a chemical incident, forensically, it's a piece of cake to deconstruct it and show where it came from. You'll find now. I'm sure people say, well, here's the clever part of the false flag. So the Russians did a nuclear event that used isotopes traceable back to Ukraine, but Russia did that on purpose to finger Ukraine in the Ukrainian false flag designed to finger the Russians. Now we're getting into conspiratorial Russia I don't think Russia's losing too much sleep on that. There's always the PR game, the information war game, where people can throw these things back and forth. But I just don't think that Vladimir Putin wakes up every morning going, oh my God, the Ukrainian false flag. We got to worry about that. And I don't think the Russian intelligence, I think they're worried about bigger picture things like finishing this conflict in Ukraine and how to get on with, a new European security framework, how to, slow down an arms race with the United States, how, what's going to happen in Iran, what's going to happen with China, how do we improve our relations, North Korea, all these things. I just don't think that, the false. Now, this doesn't mean that the Ukrainians aren't insane. We know they are. We know the Ukrainians are, They fund a terrorist attack against the Crocus City Hall. That's insanity. They attack the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. That's insanity. So we know the Ukrainians are insane, but the idea that the West is going to collude with Ukrainian insanity to create a false flag that justifies NATO intervention, I don't see that as a reality.